These two decisions by these players and their parents involved cost them not even just millions, but tens of millions of dollars. They got manipulated and they got brainwashed, and I'm talking about this and bringing it up because nobody else is. Alright, third video on the NBA draft and the final video on the NBA draft. And by the way, we're not doing no intro, none of that. We're jumping straight into it. I don't got time to waste, and you don't got time to waste either. If you like the content, consider subscribing. We'd love to have you here. If you don't like the content, well, yeah, it is what it is. Yesterday, what do we talk about? The first round, the Thompson twins, and also why certain players went undrafted like Oscar Tshiebwe and Drew Tibbert. Well, today what we're going to do is talk about players that got drafted in the second round, but to be more specific and more particularly, we're going to be talking about two players who already, somehow, someway, lost millions, and I mean millions and millions and millions of dollars. And before we even get going, I want to say this at the very beginning of this video. I hate to see this because it's not even the kid's fault. It's their father's fault and their parents' fault. I'm blaming their parents. This is not, and I'll repeat this isn't on these two young men, and I firmly believe that and I stand on it. They got manipulated and they got brainwashed, and I'm talking about this and bringing it up because nobody else is. And you want to know what's even sadder about this? I've been following this situation for years now, and I knew it was going to happen. I remember talking about this years ago with one of these two guys, and I said, yep, this is exactly what's going to happen, and well, here we are. You know what they say, time will tell, and it's definitely telling. Is that even a saying, or did I just make that up? I think it is. I don't know. Let's roll with it. Hold on. Before we get to this video, I just happened to be skimming through the comment section on the video we uploaded yesterday about the Thompson twins, and I got to share these comments. In that video, if you haven't seen it, I was sharing with you guys how a guy I used to play against and grew up with, Kobe Brown, he got selected late in the first round, and I was just congratulating him and all that nice stuff. And I also showed you guys a picture where me and him, we were named to the all-area team. And this was back in high school, by the way. This was years and years and years ago. And somebody commented, White Randy absolutely had a shot at the league. Hey, man, you heard it from him, not me. All I'm saying is, if White Randy didn't blow out his knees, you never know what could have happened. If you don't know the whole White Randy situation, that was my nickname back in 7th grade PE class. They called me the White Randy because I was pretty much the White Randy Moss. That's all there is to it. I can't dumb it down or explain it. I used to moss people. I'll leave it at that. I still got to find that film. And then also, this comment made me laugh for like 2 minutes. Somebody said, Matt was the manager. He capping. All right, that's crazy. I ain't gonna lie, though. I do look like I'm the manager because everybody else is in uniform. But yet again, if you didn't watch that video, the reason I'm not in uniform is because those two teams they were playing that night and my team got put out earlier in the tournament. That's funny, man. That's funny. But definitely not the manager. I wasn't on the level of Kobe Brown or really any of these other guys. I mean, I was good, but like I stated numerous times on the channel before, I just had low, very, very, very low D1 interest, and I had about 2 or 3 D2 interests and offers as well. And the reason I say D1 interest / offers is because they were wanting me to be a preferred walk-on, that type of situation. So yeah, that's some background information on your boy Matt. Definitely could have played college ball, but it wouldn't have been nothing special. Just a guy who averages like 5 or 6 points per game. That's it. But I did want to elaborate on that a little more and share some background information on your boy Matt, because I have every now and then people comment, oh, well, you'll criticize these basketball and football players, but could you play? Did you ever play? So all those people out there that say that stuff, yes, as a matter of fact, I did play, and I'd like to say I was decent. I started varsity for 4 years as a freshman. I never even played JV ball. I went from middle school straight to varsity. And I think a lot of my athletes out there know just how hard it is to start varsity, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 years. Do what you want with that information. Was also named all area multiple times and also was voted as one of the best players in the county multiple times. I just don't feel the need to sit up here and tell you guys all my awards and how good I was back in my day, because I don't believe in that. Anybody that knew me growing up, ask them. They know Matt could play. All that's besides the point, though. Let's get back on track with the NBA. Some real deal ball players. In the entire second round, the 2 picks that stood out the most to me are picks number 45 and 49. You may be sitting there asking, yo, Matt, who got picked there and why they stick out to you? And that's a great question, my friend, and I have a great answer. These 2 picks stick out to me the most because these are 2 guys I covered a lot in high school heading into their college careers that at one point in time were both #1 overall recruits in their respected class. I'm going to say that again. Picks number 45 and 49 were both at one point in time ranked #1 in their class coming out of high school. And yet, these 2 young men who were hyped up to be big-time 5-star recruits and potentially top 3 NBA draft picks, they weren't even drafted in the first round. They weren't even drafted in the top 45. Or top 44, really, but you get what I'm trying to say. These 2 young men go by the name of GG Jackson and no other than Emoni Bates. I know y'all have heard of Emoni Bates, no introduction needed, but a lot of people haven't heard of GG Jackson. He does go by the name of Gregory Jackson II or Greg Jackson, but I call him GG. You don't need a backstory on Emoni Bates, you know all that, but with GG Jackson, I know a lot of you, like I said, don't know who he is, but it's a similar situation. He was extremely hyped up in high school. He was one of, if not the best player in high school in his class. And what did he do? He reclassified. He reclassified for the same reason Emoni Bates did, so he could get to the college game earlier and quicker and get to the NBA quicker. Let's start off with GG Jackson first. He was in the class of 2023 and he reclassified to the class of 2022, and yet he was still ranked as the 6th best player in the class of 2022. That's crazy. I think some people are going to remember this. He was hyped up big time, and there was this huge controversy going on with him in North Carolina and South Carolina. He was originally committed to North Carolina, then he goes to South Carolina, and then he reclassifies, and all that crap was going on. It was a crazy time. South Carolina was ecstatic to get him, but they knew they were only going to have him for 1 year because he was going to leave and go to the NBA. That's what all this is about. All this reclassifying is just to get to the NBA faster and quicker. And yeah, you see how that turned out? Not so good. He got drafted 45th overall. That's terrible. For a guy who was labeled as a 5-star recruit and ranked as a 99 out of 99 on 24/7 Sports, the #1 player in the country, to fall all the way down to 45, yeah, that's terrible. I'm going to label it as terrible, and it's also embarrassing and humiliating, at least in my humble opinion. How in the world do you fall that far down? Oh, wait a minute, I know how. You reclassify and put out bad tape. I'm going to bring up one of the most interesting situations I ever saw, and that's last year regarding Shaedon Sharpe. Y'all remember him, right? He got drafted 7th overall, and he didn't even play for Kentucky. Heck, for a long time, nobody even knew if Shaedon Sharpe was good or not because there was no film. But here is a difference with Shaedon Sharpe going to Kentucky. He didn't put out bad film. Whether you want to believe this or not, it's cold hard facts, and it's been proven time after time after time. No film is better than bad film. I promise you and guarantee you, if GG Jackson would have went to South Carolina and sat out and didn't play, he'd have been a top 10 selection. I promise you, I guarantee it. But what happened? Went to South Carolina, and he was awful. And I wish I could say I'm shocked about it, but no, I'm not. Yeah, he's going to look awful for South Carolina, an SEC team, when he's supposed to be a senior in high school. I knew he wasn't going to be good, and that's exactly what happened. He didn't even shoot above 39% from the overall field, and he shot 32% from the three-point line. And it wasn't just the shooting. He had a turnover problem, and he had a terrible attitude, and him and the coaching staff were going back and forth all year long. It was an awful experience. We'll get back to that in just a second. Let's talk about Emoni Bates, though. Well, we all know what happened there, and this one's even arguably more embarrassing. He was labeled as a chosen one for like 6 straight years. And then what happened? His dad was like, you know what? I'm going to create my own academy. He created Ypsi Academy or Ypsi Prep. I can't remember which one it was. But the point was, he created that own school, made Emoni Bates leave his high school, go to that academy, and also made him reclassify. And to go on top of that, to put the cherry on top of everything, when he reclassifies, he goes to Memphis early, and we all saw what happened there. It was terrible to say the least, and similar to GG Jackson, he put out bad tape. These two decisions by these players and their parents involved cost them not even just millions, but tens of millions of dollars. Think about it. If Emoni Bates would have never reclassified, just had a normal high school career, dominated, averaged 45 points per game, then goes to college when he's supposed to, and does decent, he would have been a top 10 pick. And that's a bare minimum. He potentially could have been the number 2 or 3 pick. But no, that doesn't happen. He reclassifies, goes to Memphis early, and I don't even think he was bad. It was just he's a kid playing against grown men. It's the same thing with GG Jackson. These 17 and 18-year-olds aren't ready for the college level. I don't care how good they think they are, but Emoni Bates and GG Jackson, they proved it. Reclassifying is one of the stupidest things you can do, and I'll stand on that till the day I die. Let me show y'all this real quick. The first pick in the NBA draft gets $31 million. That's the contract. Year 1, you get $10 million. Year 2, you get 10.6. Year 3, you get 11.1. We'll just say $30 million roughly. And by the way, the 4th year is going to be a lot more. So really, you're actually getting like a $45 million contract. Well, let's just say Emoni Bates and GG Jackson, they wouldn't have been the first overall pick if they would have done the normal and typical route they should have done. Let's just say at worst, they would have been the 10th pick. They could have gone higher, and they probably would have. Well, your 10th overall pick is getting 4.4, 4.6, and 4.8 in that 5th year, probably like $6 million. So we'll just say a 4-year, $16-17 million contract. And that is for your 10th pick. You are getting $17 million pretty much guaranteed. And they don't show you how much second round draft picks get made, but let me just show you what the last pick, the 30th overall pick in the first round gets. First year, $2 million, second year, $2 million, third year, $2 million, probably fourth year, 2.5, $3 million. So your 30th pick for a 4-year contract is getting about $8 million. And remember, Gigi Jackson and Emoni Bates got selected with the 45th and 49th overall pick. So if your 30th overall pick is getting about $8 million for 4 years, I'd say your 45th and 49th overall pick is getting maybe $4 million for 4 years. So Gigi Jackson and Emoni Bates, with their parents and them choosing the dumbest route ever, they're going to get $4 million. But, and I have a big but, if they would have gone the traditional path and wouldn't have messed up and just stayed on the course and path, and they would have been a 10th overall pick or 9th or 11th overall pick, they'd have got $20 million, or what I say, 18, 17 million, something like that. So by doing all this nonsense and reclassifying like they did, they cost themselves tens of millions of dollars. And I know some people are going to say, well, yeah, that sucks, but if they ball out and get a max contract, it's not even going to matter. And yeah, you're correct, but what's the chances of that happening? My point with all of this is, if you would have just stayed the course, you would have got generational wealth even if you laid an egg in the NBA. If you're a top 10 pick in the NBA, even if you don't even score a bucket, you're set the rest of your life if you don't screw it up. But now, Emoni Bates and Gigi Jackson are in a terrible situation because $4 million ain't enough to live off of the rest of your life. And oh yeah, by the way, they're getting $4 million, but after taxes, they'll probably get about $2.2 million. Then they got to pay their agent and all that. Yeah, they'll probably get $2 million in total. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that $2 million is for 4 years. Meanwhile, your top 10 picks are all getting $5 million in their first year. So now if Emoni Bates and Gigi Jackson don't go out there and prove themselves and get a big time contract in 4 or 5 years, heck, worst case scenario, they might have to get a regular job. And I have a lot of sympathy for these guys because it's not even their fault. It's their parents' fault or whoever raised them and told them to do these stupid decisions. Reclassifying and going to college is stupid because you're going to put out bad tape unless you're LeBron James. And we found out rather quickly that Emoni Bates and Gigi Jackson aren't no LeBron James. I hope this is a learning lesson for all the other up-and-coming recruits that think they're good enough to play college ball a year early. You're not Timothy Neutron, buddy. Just take a step back, humble yourself, and enjoy the high school experience. You only get to experience high school one time. After that, life sucks. You got bills 24/7 and you got to work the rest of your life. Enjoy high school. I like Grady Dick, and this isn't a shot against him because I think he's fantastic, but imagine telling somebody 3 to 4 years ago that Grady Dick would be drafted 30-something spots higher than Emoni Bates. Crazy situation, man. It's crazy. And I know a lot of people ain't going to care, but most of y'all know this. Heck, we've been following up and keeping up with Emoni Bates ever since he was in like 9th or 10th grade on this channel. Just to see everything play out the way it did, it's sad. I hate it for him. I wish him the best of luck. Hopefully one day he gets this max contract so we can look back on this and laugh at it. But heck, I don't even know if he'll get a legit shot in the NBA. Look at Cam Thomas. Y'all remember Cam Thomas, right? The point guard from LSU went to Brooklyn. There was a 4-game stretch. He put up like 40 points and he can't even get playing time. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Let me know y'all thoughts down below. But